Hello, my name is Adam Baldridge, and today I'd like to give a little speech about a concept that affects all of us at some point in our lives, but that none of us really think that much about. And that is the federal minimum drinking age of 21 years old. A little history first. What a lot of people really don't know is the age of 21 is not a federal law, to this day even. And it's always been up to the states themselves to set their own drinking age minimums. But in the year 1984, an act called the Federal Minimum Drinking Age Act was passed. And this was a federal mandate, which is different from a federal law. And what the mandate said was that unless you don't, unless you set, let me start over there. States had to start setting their own drinking age minimum at age 21, and if they didn't, they would no longer receive federal transportation funds for highway construction and maintenance. And that's important because our interstate highway system is one of the bedrocks of American society right now. I-5, I-90, I-405. Imagine not getting any more funds to take care of those highways and those roads just because we didn't set our drinking age at the age of 21. So, the way it was before that, states could set their own. For instance, my mother used to tell me a story about when she was in college at the University of Washington in 1970. They would take road trips to Idaho because at that point you could not sell or consume a beer over 3.2% alcohol in Washington State. And Coors Light was a relatively new beer at that time, but it was 4.8% alcohol, and you couldn't get it in Seattle. So her and her friends would go to Idaho for a whole weekend to buy Coors Light. Sounds a little strange these days, modern times, but that was a reality back then. A common metaphor now is that a lot of college kids, and I admit to be one of them when I was at the University of Washington myself, when we turned 19, if you had a close group of friends and once all of you were 19, you'd plan a road trip every weekend to Vancouver, BC, because in Canada, the minimum drinking age is 19 years old. And it's a lot of fun. We came back with a lot of stories and a lot of, there was a, for lack of a better word, we kind of felt like we were skirting the law. It's kind of a loophole that we could do because we can't do it here in America, but we can in Canada. So it was a lot of fun. And I think that that realization itself is part of the reason why 21 is maybe a little bit too far. And I believe that as far as the minimum drinking age goes, Canada has it more right than we do here in America. And I think 19 is a very good compromise. If we give responsibilities to our children at the age of 18, we give them the right to vote, they can own and carry a firearm, they can be charged as an adult in the court of law, they can register in the draft, they can join the military, and they can fight in wars, but you can't have a beer. It just doesn't seem to fit with the concept of all of the other responsibilities that we give to children once they become adults. And I think, like I said before, a good compromise is the age of 19, because there is some merit in keeping alcohol out of the hands of children and teenagers that are still in high school. And plenty of children turn 18 while they're still seniors in high school. So if we could at least keep alcohol legally out of their hands until they're graduated, until they become part of the world like we all do, I think that's a good compromise. So 19 is a good middle ground. And like I said before, this isn't a, it's not a pressing issue. It's not something that people have a really strong opinion on. It's not a concept with really established yeses or nos, but it is something that has never really sat well with me, especially given the fact that many of our allies in the Western world, like I said, Canada and countries in Europe, like Germany for instance, where their drinking age is 16, they do not have these escalated problems of drunk driving or binge drinking that was part of the rationalization behind setting the drinking age at 21 here in America. So to avoid these problems and just to sort of pull the criminalization off of alcohol between the age of 19 and 21, I just think a lot of things would be set straight and look a lot better in this country if we just moved it from 21 back to 19. And I think that it's a noble move. I think it's a good compromise, and there you have it. And I hope that maybe I made you think about it a little bit more, maybe even change your mind. So thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.